Hi, my name is Olga, and today we are going to talk about pitch deck. So, what is a pitch deck? Pitch deck is an presentation that you prepare for your investors to explain them the idea of your startup and to show why an investor should invest into your startup. So let's start with the following, with the pitch deck structure. And if you have some questions, please ask them. Structure of a pitch deck. There should be no more than 8 to 10 slides. And the first slide is one liner where we explain the idea of your startup. For example, Uber is an app that helps order taxi in a second. Or Uber is an app that connects drivers and riders via an app. That should be a very simple one-liner so that when you tell it to your grandma, she understands what you are building. Second slide talks about the problem. So usually any startup should be built based on some problem or pain that exists on the market. So what is the pain you are solving? What is the problem that people have? For example, before taxi apps existed, yeah, I would say that ordering a taxi is really painful. You have to wait 20, 30 minutes. You pay some enormous money, etc. So that's the problem, and you can describe it more. Next slide is the solution. So how do you solve this problem? What is your product doing to help people reduce their pain, solve their problem? So on this slide, you can describe your solution in more detail, but you can also add up another slide called product, where you describe where you add, for example, pictures of your solution. You can use whiteboard if you don't have an MVP. For example, Miro or any other whiteboard where you can make a sketch of your product inside, how it's going to look like inside. So if you have a real product, you can make pictures. If it's a hardware or some physical product, make pictures and add them to presentation. But an investor should get a visual understanding of how a product will look like. So build some MVP. That's a very strong point for any presentation. After that, you need to show that your market is huge. Remember, I was talking about the fact that investors like big markets. It should be at least $1 billion. Imagine that, at least 1 billion. It's good if it is 10 or 50 billion dollars. So that's about venture investment in particular. So show your market, show that you understand where your clients are, how to reach them, how to get them. So you have to talk about market size in dollars, not people, not something else, products, items in dollars. People want to see money. Show them money. After you talk about market size, next slide would be your business model. How are you going to earn money? Where from? Is it commission from each sale? Is it some markup? Is it advertising, etc.? So show the business model, because investors want to know where the money will come from, and that you as a founder understand that. Next thing is competition. Many startups like to say, oh, this product is so new, I have no competition. And that's not correct. Everyone knows that you do have direct and indirect competition. Direct competition is something that is built closely to your product, and it is a very strong point to show that you do have and do understand your competitors. It's not a bad thing that you have competitors. If you have competitors, it means clients like or need this product. You also have indirect competitors. For example, if you are building an app a game app. Uh, Indirect competition for me would be watch Netflix, play with kids, go for a walk, etc. And it also might influence your potential client's decision whether to use your product or not. So just remember, competition slide is very important, and you do have competition. You just have to know about that. So also, if you have clients, that's a great point. Show some use cases if you already have them. I know for that for startups of pre-seed and seed round, they usually they don't have any clients, and they don't have this slide, and that's a very weak point, I would say. But if you have at least some potential agreements, show them. Talk about your potential clients, or at least talk about portraits of your potential clients. Next slide is team. As I've mentioned, team is very important. In early stage investors invest in you guys, in people, in teams. They don't invest in ideas because they don't know if this idea will work or not. They invest in people. So team slide should be very well built, and you have to show your skills and skills of your co-founders, the way that they complement each other. For example, if I am a CTO, I don't need another engineer on my founders team. I need CEO or maybe COO, someone who is going to sell the product while I build it. Maybe a product manager who is going to test hypothesis, but I need complementary skills on my team. Also, you need some good storytelling. When you became a team, how well are you functioning as a team? So that's something investors will pay attention to. So idea, market, and team are the three main components of investment decision. Then you can add slide about investment. Never talk about your evaluation. Only talk about how much money you are looking for. That's it. Evaluation is something that is discussed inside the room together with investor. It's not a public information, because you can get tomorrow, you can get a new big client and your evaluation will increase. After that, you can add up appendix where you add all the slides that you were not able to show in your main pitch deck, like slides with finances, maybe some more complicated explanation of your product, etc., etc. Something that you would need to have if you have questions afterwards, and you open a slide and answer the question. So be prepared. Think about as many questions as possible and create slides for that. So next point I want to discuss is what is the difference between pre-seed and seed pitch deck and pitch deck of a startup of round A, B, and C. The main difference is clients, traction, revenue, growth numbers, retention numbers. So pitch deck of a round A, B, and C startup is usually filled with numbers, traction, strong use cases. Because by round A, to raise round A, you need at least 1 million ARR. If you don't have it, it's going to be very hard to raise your next round. So that's why you should already have some use cases to show. And traction is everything connected to numbers and growth. You don't only need to show numbers, but also you need to show growth, that these numbers are constantly growing. Mistakes. What are the mistakes that people do in pitch decks? Too many slides. The optimum number of main slides is 8 to 10 plus appendix. Too many words and text. So people are able either to read or listen. They can't do everything simultaneously. So you need to keep your slides texts very short and talk more. So people get the main idea from slide and then they listen to you. People sometimes add so much information to the slides. No one is going to read that. Or they will read that and they won't listen to you. So think about that. Very difficult terminology. you all probably have IT startups and you all are experts in your area. But investors are not the experts. They are experts in finance, they are experts in investment, they are experts in business models, but they're not experts in your particular business case, in your solution, in your industry, but they still can invest if they understand. If you make slides too complicated, they won't understand it and they won't invest. So make sure before you go and pitch in front of your parents, your grandma, and make sure they understand what you build. It's funny, but it should be like that. Numbers, financial models. People add lots of numbers, financial models, business models to their slides. As I've mentioned, no one is interested in that much detail. If you have revenue, just make one line. This is my revenue in year X, Y, and Z, and this is the growth rate. That's enough to make this case a very strong case. No one is interested in your expenses in that much detail. Investors will ask you later to send them an Excel file with business model. That's where you can show that you understand your expenses, your revenue, your business model, but not on a slide. Again, no one is going to read all the detail, and you probably will have 3 to 5 minutes to pitch, so you won't have time to explain. No team slide. That's a mistake, or a very rigid team slide with a couple of words about each team member. That's incorrect. As I've mentioned, investors invest in teams, and you need to understand why your team is complementary, has complementary skills, why your team is uh, um, has the correct number of founders, and these founders as a team will be able to build and sell this product. And no traction. I know that it's very hard for people of pre-seed and seed round to show traction, but you have to build it. Even if you're an early stage startup, build an MVP, very rough MVP, and try to sell. Find some first customers. But if you can't do that, well, then just do customer development talks and show your investors that you understand very well who your client is, where it is coming from, what is your go-to-market strategy, what is the size of this market. So show something on the slides. A pitch deck with traction is much stronger than a pitch deck without some traction. And the last thing I want to discuss is uh, a pitch deck is not something you build once and you forget. A pitch deck is something that you update every second week, at least once a month. It's something that is usually evolving and changing because you get new clients or you get new results of your customer development. And all that influences your understanding of the market, of your product, etc. So make sure you build your pitch deck and you update it every second week or so. I use a platform called Beautiful AI where I can make versions of presentation, and I can, at the end of the year, I can see how much progress we've done, how much we evolved. I hope that was useful. Please give me some comments if you want more live videos. I'll do. Thank you.